I think the conversation on food is never ending. And it's because it's basically our livelihood. It's basically how we can survive as human beings. But what are the policies governing it? And basically, what are our systems? What are the approaches? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And how can we further build it or enhance it? Food is food, and governance and policy also basically complements it to ensure that we can advance it, to ensure that we can sustain it through diverse approaches. And I think that the conversation is global, and approaches may be similar, but also differ. In Ghana, I think Agrihouse Foundation has been working across the 16 regions for a while now. And what do we see? We see the energies of farmers who are very passionate and very committed to do more if there are resources. We see the youth who keep demonstrating beyond reasonable doubts that if given the platform, if mentored, if they have the right mindset, if the education on agriculture and its opportunities are available, they should be able to contribute to the future of food. And today I'm happy we have most of our youth here because Agrihouse Foundation is working on our annual boot camp, which brings agri-colleges and farm institutes together. So at the back end, you see the students from Kwada, Soda, Mango, Fair River, Aswanzi, Ejura, all here for the boot camp. And we believe that this is also a right representation for them if we want to look at the future of food and where the place or the position that they play or the role they can play to contribute to development or to contribute to sustainability. So across the country, realize that, we are talking about sustainability always. It's not like we don't even know. Everybody here is talking about different approaches. So we know what we need to do. We know how we can feed ourselves. We know the localized approaches that we can use to enhance our growth and to ensure that the future of food is secured. But sometimes I think that though we know, like he passionately spoke, there are also human factors that hinders growth. There is issue with possibly leadership and how, and even ourselves, and how we could also be very committed. We see what is happening in Burkina and some of the structures that they are even building. I'll use the North as an example and some of the farmers that we are working with. When you go now, you are not even getting the share nuts to purchase because they are all being exported in each raw state. And here we are talking about the future of food. What is the role of government to ensure that there are benchmarks to these issues that are pending? You go to an area like Yendi, you realize that the women are producing more sesame, but where are the processing machinery or equipment that they can use to even scale up and then export? Because some of them have been able to export to Kenya, and you realize that there are markets. It's not bad for us to be farming in small sizes. That's what we've been used to. But if the necessary resources and tools are available, I believe that we'll be able to ensure that the future is sustained. Now, I'm happy that our traditional leaders are here. And they are also form the part when it comes to governance. If you go to the regions, they are basically the heads or the leaders within the community. How governments or partners also working with them to ensure that there is some level of sustainability. Let's take Wale Wale as an example. They are producing a lot of watermelon. And it's only recently that a processing factory is being put there. Assuming that we approach our agriculture, we have 16 regions, we have over 256 districts, and then we have about over 160,000 communities. Assuming that we look at what can do best in every region and we focus on it, I believe that we can grow and we can sustain the future of food. But even in the last 38 years, Ghana hasn't had any agric census. So there is data very scanty. There is no research, or research is done, but the documents are left, and then, nothing is done with it. So we sometimes invest in it, we sometimes not invest in it. So we end up having partners on board or international donors, or we sign bilateral agreements where the upper hand goes to the party that is investing. But if we come back to our regions, for instance, what can we do best in Ashanti region? Can we look at what can grow best? And then, or even when it comes to animal production, which is an area that is often neglected, what can we do to ensure that the conversation on livestock is also in tandem with crop sector? If we look at each region and what can be produced, then we can look at how we can industrialize it and then create jobs. Because we can't talk about sustainability and leave out job creation. If we focus on Ashanti region, this is what we can do, grow there. This is what can do best there. What do we need? Can we then work on our roads? Can we then work on our markets? Can we then see how we can export? Then we are building communities or regions that are stronger, that are resilient, that can be sustainable, and that we can have our farmers well sustained and the practices also well sustained. So we could be talking about applications like Prof said. We could talk about so many things, but I believe it's time we look at the structures, what can do best in each region, and we take it one at a time, and then we can further develop our country one at a time. It can take time, but that is how Brazil did it. If you look at also the structure of even Brazil and what we import to Ghana, is different, or what they import to Africa is different from what they even consume within their country. So theirs is built such that, or from the little I know, theirs is built such that some of the states are basically like set up to export or to grow to export, while some also are set up to be consumed within the country, which comes to what we are consuming. And this can really affect our future or affect our health and affect our systems. Now, let's also look at our educational systems. We have Ohio Agri-College here, Damango Agri-College. We are talking about the future of food, and education can be missing most of the times. What innovation? These young ones have great innovations. How do we bring them to the table to also contribute to such conversations if you are talking about food sustainability? I believe they play a critical role, and they are very, very key. Ohio had, like, I will use a case of Ohio or some of the schools. Most of them are not having any demonstration centers again. All the lands that they use for demonstration are now being used for real estate. And those that they are even using for their laboratories have been turned to dormitories. And this is a very stark state, and then we are talking about the future of food. The government introduces policies. Over the years, we've heard about planting for food and jobs, Operation Feed Yourself, Feed Ghana, and all that. And then it doesn't go with any advocacy. So we hear it once, and that is it. And then we don't even know when it's going to be implemented. Rearing for food and jobs like this, very brilliant concept, but got just missing within the system. Now, all these policies, I believe if they go with advocacy and it gets to the grassroots for the people who are the direct implementers or beneficiaries, we should be able to get somewhere. Because if you look at all these Operation Feed Yourself, planting for food and jobs, and all these that feed Ghana, they all boil under three areas: increasing productivity, and also decreasing imports, and also creating jobs. And where are we with this? How is advocacy complementing all these things? How is education complementing all these things? How long are we going to talk? We have, sometimes there is budget allocation, and then there's a percentage maybe to the agri sector. Out of this 100% that has been allocated, realize that some of this has also come from donors. If it becomes like that, maybe the government will put in 30% and donors also put 70%. So if the donor hasn't added up, then it means we are at a standstill. We are just stuck like that. Now, if they also add up, what is it used for? Realize that the administrative budget is plenty. You go to a place and then a lot of V8 is packed for a project. A lot of pickups are packed. So I believe the issue of sustainability and the future of food is safe in our hands. But what practices, what approaches, what can we do? What are we doing now? And how can we really advance it if we really desire to? We have the people, we have the men, we have everything. But then we always talk about it. I think I'll talk about this declaration. I think it's the Malipo Declaration in 2003, which also said that every African country or every country should dedicate about 10% to agric development. Till date, we've not been able to do that. So the issue of sustainability is a full cycle. What is the role of our farmers? Where are they now? Do they have the needed resources? Do we even have a data of what can grow best in an area that we can really focus on it? The role of our queen mothers, of our chiefs. We giving out the lands for galamsey. Now some of our farmers are even trading their lands for galamsey because it does better for them. So they can trade it for like 6 months and get about 70,000 Ghana cedis, and then they wait. And now they have to wait to work on the land again, which is a big issue. I spoke about share. I think just 3-4 years ago, share at 25 kg was just 750. Now, share at 25 kg is 8,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
So our situation is very sad. Very sad. And so if you're talking about the future of food, I think that advocacy plays a role. Discipline, leadership plays a critical role. Continuity. A government comes with a sound policy and you realize that it's manifesto driven, because the minute they go, oh, it's not good, let's abolish it, let's do another one. So there is no continuity. So how can we talk about sustainability when there is no continuity? So our states can do better. I believe that, Africa is passionate. We can feed ourselves, really. But our situation is, I think it's more of mindsets. And that is really hindering us. So we can have these conversations over and over again. If we don't change our mindset, if we don't use project money to buy only cars and then we sit up and do something, I believe we can be talking about this and it will not really go anywhere. But I believe there are solutions, and we know the solutions. And the solutions lies in primarily also having the right mindset to approach these issues. This is a sure way that we can build and sustain the future of food.
For more news, please visit our website, graphic.com.gh, or follow us on Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube and Twitter at GraphicGH.
Subscribe now.